All right, guys, what's happening? Good afternoon on the East Coast. Good morning on the West Coast. Brett Sutherland and I are back here with the Digital Contractor Podcast. We're on episode 3 here, and this one is going to be one that you guys definitely don't want to miss here. The title says it all. Is SEO dead? Is search engine optimization dead? It's an interesting topic. A lot has changed with search engine optimization over the last few years here. A lot of people have been doing it the old-fashioned way, as they say, and maybe not getting results and wondering why. And so many things have changed in the past few years, as you might expect with Google and with all kinds of online presence related things. So excited to jump into this one. What's happening, Brett? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. This is going to be an exciting topic.
So tell me, man, I know there is a lot of misconception. I know in the past few years, I have personally learned a lot just with, how this actually works and how this topic is evolving as Google continues to grow and kind of change the rules of the game. How is SEO evolving, and is it actually dead?
So the answer is, I would answer that question, yes, SEO is dead. And at the same time, doing SEO the wrong way will kill your business. Having been in the contractor space for over a year now and looking at the websites that we're competing against, Brian, it's done incorrectly. It's dated 5 years plus. Keyword stuffing, adding cities to the website in a spam manner, reinventing content 100 different ways to make it look like you have different index pages. It's all bogus. And in today's day and age, what matters to grow SEO on a continual basis, and our sites do this, is it on a secure URL? Is it fast as it possibly can be? Is the URL structure correct? Are you adding unique content on a weekly basis? And if you check those boxes, if anyone is trying to sell you SEO, you need to run away as fast as you possibly can. Because what's going to happen is I still see companies out there today that are saying, hey, we're going to build a website for you. There's a one-time fee, and we're going to charge you for our SEO services monthly. Run as fast as you possibly can. If you make that mistake and you are blacklisted from Google, sell your business. You have no business being in business anymore.
Yeah, and that's an interesting concept there, right? Like there is such a thing as being blacklisted, right? So what are some of the things that make a business get in the situation of being blacklisted? What are the list of things that people need to avoid?
Look, you've seen it just as well as I. As you've gotten more involved in digital marketing over the last year, have become part of Lead Revenue, when you see these websites and they have all of these cities listed in the footer and they have pages listed and they're just repurposing the same content, the same city page, and it's this exact same content, those pages aren't going to index. It's not unique content. When you start adding a bunch of keywords in the footer of your website, many website companies even try and cover that up by using white text on a white footer so you don't see it. That is black hat SEO, and you're never going to grow. Those are just the tactics that I see. And when I think of the contractor space, I'm looking at 3 companies that I think that we run up against occasionally. They're doing it wrong. They're charging for SEO services and they're not getting what they're paid for. They're literally getting just a bunch of spam. They're getting regenerated content, adding keywords. It doesn't cost them a penny to do it, right? They've got an automated script that runs these programs, and it's really, really bad for your business. That's one way we've been able to go in and take clients from these companies, and they're seeing 200, 300, 400% organic growth right away because they've been blacklisted and their stuff is not showing. So it is a very big problem in this industry. And, it's costing contractors millions of dollars in revenue.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that comes to mind, man, is like, people's kind of perception of SEO being what they actually want because of how it is evolved and how important a lot of marketing companies have made that in the sales process. And so it makes people almost hesitant to go the right direction towards doing the things that we're describing with blogging and things like that. And then also on the paid search side, of kind of being lenient of that, because these companies were selling the idea of paid search being bad and SEO being good. Well, you want organic placement and not necessarily running paid ads. It was a misconception that I had, right? When I came in, I'm like, no, we want to do it we want to do it the organic way. And the reality is that's just not the case of the way it works anymore, is it? Like, so when it comes down to the mix of how things are working, can you break that down for the listeners as far as like the map section and the top section with paid ads and kind of how things rank? And even if you are on, quote unquote, a top 10 ranked site in that particular topic, where are you going to fall on the Google ranking when you're looking at it?
Yeah, great questions and great points. So going back 5 years, and I've been in the digital marketing business for going on 2 decades. Going back 5 years, paid search was clicked at about 10% of the time. Organic got most of the clicks. You'll notice if you go back a year and a little bit that Google went from a valuation of $500 billion to $1 trillion because they increased their ad spend. They said, hey, instead of putting 2 people at the top of the search and 2 people at the bottom of the search, which was pretty much worthless, we're now going to sell 4 spots. And then we're going to also now sell map spots. So the map takes up a good quarter of the page. And then the top 2 listings underneath are now paid ads. So you're pushed below the fold, and all the customer is seeing is paid search. So 75% of the clicks are now paid search. How has that changed Google's valuation? They instantly became a $1 trillion company and are on track to become the first $2 trillion company with that one change. So paid search is a must if you want to grow, be found, and get more than your fair share of traffic. Google's organic rank, can you still increase? Absolutely. Our clients are increasing 10% a month in and month out. They see big growth up front originally, but they're continuing to make gains. But SEO or SEM, search engine marketing, is where it's at. So, they've completely changed the book, and you have to play by their guidelines now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that, when I first met you and first started talking about all this stuff, and we started looking at, how we wanted to go to market online and where we wanted to be, that was one of the things that we talked about, was going from, just being an organic company that shows up to stepping into the paid search game. And it has absolutely changed the game for our company. I mean,
and going by your results, you and I talk daily. Going by your results, it's fair to say you've gained $1 million of booked business over the last year, spending, I believe we looked at it the other day, $36,000.
Yeah. Well, I would almost argue to say it's multiple millions. Some of that hasn't, and that's not counting what's in the funnel right now that hasn't come through yet. And so there's always in our business a bit of a lag from, when you get a lead to when it closes, right? So it's significant. And as you figure that out, and as you start to build systems that can handle the volume of leads that you're going to get from doing that paid search, Brett and I have talked a bunch of times about, our strategy going into the end of the year to set up the following year is going to be significant, right? Because as you get attention, and, one of the things I think that is way undersold when it comes to any online presence, but let's talk SEO and paid ads specifically, is just the fact of people seeing your logo or your name over and over and over again, right? So like they see your name in a paid ad, or they see your logo if they happen to click on it. Well, we have millions and millions and millions of people who have seen our name, our logo. And so we start to have brand recognition in those markets. And so very interesting to watch people's behavior as they see things online and they see them repeatedly. The level of trust that you gain as a company by being in those positions is significant. So the concept of SEO in general is correct, right? You want to be in those top positions. But for me, now that I know a little different, I look and say, well, these people are running paid ads. They're likely a better company. I'll be honest. Like, that's how I think now that I know the game, right? Like, if you're investing thousands of dollars a month as a contractor in paid ads, you are likely a more stable company than someone who isn't.
No question. Absolutely. And, to your point, it's hard to quantify and put a dollar figure on how many you've gotten millions of impressions. People have seen the Pavement Group. What is that worth? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brand recognition. It's worth a ton of money. So impressions matter, and it's branding your company. So, my advice on this topic is paid search is a must in today's market. One thing to note, though, is it requires consistency. I talked to a contractor yesterday and said, "Hey, Brett, we spent $1,500 on paid search, and I'm not seeing instant results." And that's because of something you hit on, Brian, the sales cycle. Most of these people aren't going to a commercial property and saying, "Hey, okay, I'm going to sign. I'm ready to go." Once you submit a bid, they may get 2 other people to bid on the job. And it may be a 60-day process. It may be a 90-day process. So when you're going down the road of paid search, you need to set up budget and stick to that budget for at least 90 days. It's all about consistency. Same with organic, is about consistency. It's about continuing that flow of unique content. First and foremost, run away from these companies that are doing outdated tactics and, keyword stuffing, city pages, all of these things that are just not working and will get your business blacklisted. There's a way to move the organic needle 10% a month in today's environment. If you do paid search, your ROI is going to be 20-fold. If you do it and you're consistent with it, don't try it for a month or 2 months. Be in it for the long term, and you will see significant gains over time.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I've taken away from the lessons I've learned in the last year, first being a customer of Lead Revenue, then being on the board, now being a partner, it is without a doubt what you just said. And I want to make sure everybody hears this: is consistency is it. Like if you are inconsistent in marketing, you are wasting your money, and that is the bottom line. Is most of the marketplace is very inconsistent with their marketing approach. They try something, it doesn't work right away, and they quit. To go back to what you were saying about, commercial clients, when we are looking at close rate at the Pavement Group, I don't count any proposal that is less than 45 days old. I don't count that against our close rate. That is actually how I calculate it. And it's probably more likely to be a 60-day, right? It takes a lot of time to process one of these deals that's a commercial deal. That might be different on the residential side, obviously, but when you're looking at this stuff, there is no instant ROI, right? We're not a retail store that somebody walks into, picks something up off the shelf and purchases it. It's a relationship-based business. And so, one of the conversations I had yesterday too was you have to balance that the sales approach with the marketing, right? And so as you have great marketing, you're positioned well on Google, you have a great online presence, you are doing all the right things online, it puts rocket fuel in the tank of any sales activities that you do. So if you're prospecting, you call a customer, that is when they're going to find you on social media, find you on Google, look at your website, and then you have to have a website set up that converts. So it's the combination of all of these things that actually create success, right? We just shot a video on this a few weeks ago about it takes checking all the boxes, right? And I think the one that is most frequently missed from our standpoint, what we see, the one that people that aren't getting the result, the box that is most frequently not checked is paid search. If paid search is checked, there is successful marketing and results attached to it. If paid search isn't checked, it's a mixed bag, right? And that mixed bag is based on how long that company's been in business, what was their traffic before, how big the market is that they exist in, right? So if you are in a major metropolitan city in the United States and you are planning on winning organically from online leads, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be increasingly more difficult with the market that you have. And we've noticed that, man, from Pittsburgh to Boston, the results based on a dollar amount are a little different, right? So you have to spend more in order to be noticed in these bigger cities, right? And so it's just how it works, guys. And so for anybody out there that has been hesitant about paid search, I am happy to talk to you. I'm happy to show, the results that we've had from a traffic standpoint and a conversion standpoint to anybody that wants to see them, because I think that a lot of companies out there are missing the boat because they've been told something in the past about SEO and staying away from paid search that maybe isn't true anymore in today's world, or it's just not unlikely to be the case that you can actually win organically the way that you used to.
It's completely false. And I would take it a step further. If you are one of these companies that are with the company that you paid $2,500, $4,000 up front for your website, and you're paying monthly $1,000, $1,500 for SEO, contact us. We stop the SEO spend immediately, throw that same spend to lead revenue. We'll manage it for free. Won't cost you a dime. And we'll do it in paid search for 90 days. Guarantee your business will increase. No question about it.
That's
and then when you go to a website when you're going to a website that converts, you're going to see, a 5x return on top of those results. So, offer to anybody watching, I think you need to really look at your contract, see what you're paying for. If you see it as SEO, absolutely be scared and run. Your business is at risk.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And I think that's a great offer to be able to just take somebody's existing website, put paid search to it, drive traffic. Then when you start seeing those results, like to your point, that is it. And I've always said this about our products, when I was just a customer of Lead Revenue, the key is we just have the best converting websites. And it's not about, I used to think that the functionality of a website was just to look nice and match with the brand. And now I look and say, how much money did we leave on the table? How much revenue did we leave on the table by just not having the right, what I refer to as the right mousetraps in place, right? And
100%. Most of the websites I look at right now, and somebody says, oh man, I love my website, there's not a single call to action on the first page of the website. You're not converting anybody. What good is it to have this beautiful website showing mountains in the background? And if you don't have a single call to action, they're missing the mark. So
it's the equivalent of having a retail store with no cash registers.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, right? So on the SEO topic, guys, just to kind of finish this one off, just to Brett's point, just look at what are you actually spending on? What is the activities that are happening monthly to support that, right? There isn't, if you're getting charged for SEO services by themselves, and there's nothing that you can kind of verify to that as to how you're getting better results, then you just need to be very careful of that. And again, we're happy to take a look at anything that you've got and be able to give you an honest opinion and be able to show you kind of what the other side of it looks like. One of the things that I think we're most proud of is being a Google Premier partner. And that having that designation gives us the advantage of understanding exactly how this stuff works. And so there are a lot of companies out there that, I would imagine they believe they're doing the right thing. But, at the end of the day, if it's not getting results, that's what matters. And so SEO is a different world today. Make sure that you understand it. And if you have any questions, we are here to educate you. No strings attached. We will give you all the information that you want. And you can take it and do what you want with it. And if we build a relationship and a friendship as a result of that, then fantastic, right? But at the end of the day, we are here to provide information and provide value to you guys so that the dollars that you are spending on marketing are being put to good use. Because in all fairness, we deal with customers all the time that don't trust digital marketing companies, and it has nothing to do with anything we did, right? It's all the experiences that they had prior to that led them to have a distrust in general for digital marketing companies. And we don't blame them. But at the end of the day, we're looking to bring some light to these things that have been challenges in our industry for a long time. And people are spending, tens of thousands of dollars a month in some cases on things that don't actually work. And so we are here to help in any way that we can and get you put on the right track and pushing in the right direction.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. That's great.
Awesome, guys. Well, that is it for this episode. Stay tuned. We're going to have another episode next week with a pretty big announcement with regard to the relationship between Lead Revenue and Top Contractor School. So for those Lead Revenue customers that might be watching or listening, stay tuned and watch for the next episode of the podcast, because I think you will be happy to hear what we're about to do between Lead Revenue and Top Contractor School. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate everybody listening and tuning in, and we will see you again next week. We will be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the Top Contractor Inner Circle Retreat. And look forward to seeing you guys there that are going to be attending. And for those of you who aren't attending, just stay tuned to social media and you'll see a bunch of stuff pumped out from there. Brett is one of the speakers. Obviously, I'm one of the speakers. We've got Shay Rowbottom coming, LinkedIn and video marketing expert. So we got, and also Dick Bradley, who is on the board of Lead Revenue, will be there talking about some advanced search type stuff and how to actually get results on these things. So stay tuned. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you again.